In this video, I'm going to cover Knife 101. When it comes to maximizing your Cutco and feeling a little bit more comfortable and confident in the kitchen, it really comes down to making sure that your prep station is fully functional and that you're being safe. So for cutting surfaces, you're going to want to use a soft cutting surface like a Cutco cutting board or a really nice wooden cutting board that's been properly oiled with food grade oil. If you have any questions, please drop them in the comment section. We'll be happy to answer those for you. The next thing is finding the right tool for the right job. The best way to do this is by familiarizing yourself with each of the tools, and you can watch our entire How to Use Knife series where we actually cover each individual piece for you. Now, outside of being perfect with your Cutco, just remember that it's guaranteed forever and it's not designed for chefs. It gives a little give and take in there because we know that they're eventually gonna go dull or break, and we've got you covered. But what are the main rules when picking the right knife? The two things to think about is the size of what you're cutting. You know, we want to make sure that the blade is bigger than what we're cutting. So picking up a paring knife might not be the right thing to go through a grapefruit or a cantaloupe. Also, you know, you don't really want to have a knife that's overwhelmingly large when you're just trying to cut something small like a kiwi. So find a nice knife that's about the size of what you're cutting. The next tip is deciding whether you're going to be sawing or chopping. So although there's lots of different tools, your main go-to knives are going to be your Cutco trimmer, your Cutco Petite carver, and your Cutco carver. Again, you can see how the different lengths of the blades can really relate to the rule number one, picking the right size of the knife that you're looking for. Number two is if you're going to be chopping, you really want to make sure that you have a chopping tool. Many people like having multiple tools because usually there's more than one person cooking, and considering that vegetables are chopped more than any other food in the kitchen and having multiple meals throughout the day, it's pretty easy to think about how your knives are going to be easily dirtied throughout the day. So having backups makes both of these jobs really simple and easy. The next tip is how to hold a chopping knife. For this, you're going to want to use what's called a pinch grip. With a lot of the smaller knives, you're simply just going to grab that grip that is designed already into the handle, and it's going to feel really good. With chopping knives, they're a little bit bigger and can feel a little bit overwhelming. The easiest way to have control over these knives is by holding them correctly. So ditch the finger point, because this is the easiest way to lose the control over the knife. Instead, grab simply the knife around the metal just past the handle and easily and comfortably wrap the rest of your fingers around the handle. I can control this entire knife with just these two fingers comfortably and confidently, and you can too. When it comes to your other hand, you're gonna wanna grip the food with a claw. If you're feeling really overwhelmed, guess what? It's okay, you're not a professional chef. Just keep your fingers far back from the knife. A great technique to use is to actually be right up on the knife and actually use one or both of your fingers to actually glide the blade of the knife. Do this slowly as you get started using this technique, and slowly you're going to get more comfortable and confident as you go. The next main tips when it comes to Knife 101 is understanding the two main chopping techniques with your chopping knives. The first technique is going to be what's called the locomotive cut. It's really pushing down and forward and then lifting up the knife and making this circular motion. It's really just resetting, and understanding and getting used to this one cut is going to change your cutting and cooking experience. The second main tip here in holding and cutting your knife is going to be the rocking technique. You can simply use a couple of your fingers or the palm to hold down the tip and simply move the back of the knife forward and backward to help get smaller dices, chops, and cuts so you can mince your garlic, nuts, herbs, and spices. Now let's see that technique in motion. Pinching the blade, keeping the tip connected with the cutting board, and cutting with the back part of the blade. We're gonna push down and forward, lift, down and forward and lift. Soon, you too will be comfortable with this. So grab some food and practice, and soon it'll be very comfortable. Also, you can see where if I put my finger here, I can actually guide the knife. When I do this, I can slowly move my fingers back. If I move them back slowly, I get thin cuts. If I move them back quickly, you can see that I get wider cuts. Again, go slow and you too will get this technique down. Thanks for joining us for this video. I hope you got a lot out of it. And if you did, hit that like button and that subscribe button to keep up to date with the tips and tricks to make your life easier and your time in the kitchen as enjoyable as possible. We'll see you in the next video. And until then, remember, it's not the food that you serve on the table that matters most, it's who you share it with.